Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salam. I thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. I would like to present to you some additional footage in regards to the rise of the Moors Wakefield Standoff incident that happened July 3rd, 2021. One of the clips is from Jamal live streaming during the incident, and I just forgot to include it in the compilation footage from the rise of the Moors perspective. My apologies on that. I also have footage from the Wakefield town hall meeting where the chief of police was speaking. I believe it's the chief of police. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Was speaking with the Wakefield town hall representatives about the incident, and he gives a good summary and includes some details of the incident that we didn't have footage of. And then lastly is a compilation of footage from individuals identifying themselves as the Consulate General of Morocco or the Moroccan Consulate. And to be honest with you, I knew about some of this footage, but I was a bit unclear on how they were connected to the rise of the Moors. And I got to say thank you to the brothers and sisters in the chat. They were watching the footage. They were mentioning that this person, the individual that you'll see in the footage speaking in this consulate, is the consulate that Jamal was referring to while he was live streaming. And if you watch some of the footage, you'll see Jamal refer to and speak with the state troopers, saying that the consulate knows who they are and that they need to reach out to the Moroccan consulate. So that's just some clarity on the incident. And actually, before we get to the clips, I want to say two more things. One, the views and beliefs expressed by Jamal and also this Consulate General of Morocco and those individuals do not represent the views and beliefs and principles of all Moorish Americans, nor the Moorish Science Temple of America, nor are they representative of the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I just want to make that clear and distinguish that. And then also, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to all the parties involved in this Wakefield standoff incident. In particular, though, I wanted to say thank you to, well, first I want to say thank you to the Rise of the Moors members who were involved in the incident at the time for not losing their cool and, using violence or doing something reckless. But I also, and in particular, want to say thank you to all of the police officers, officials, troopers, agents involved who also exercised patience and restraint and didn't use violence and ultimately resolve this incident without anyone being seriously injured or killed. And this is something that I feel I should have said early on or from the beginning of it. But I just want to make sure that that's known because, just speaking honestly, reflecting back on this incident and looking at things, it really could have ended up badly. Not to say that this situation is ideal at all, but everyone is at least alive. And I just appreciate the respect that those officers and agents and officials showed despite the situation, because it was a very volatile, tense situation, and it could have ended really badly. So I just want to say that thank you if any of them out there are watching this or do watch this at some point. But enough of my speaking. Don't have any more notes. So let's get to the footage. Thank you. Oh, if you need to contact me, the email is iamhhtemple@gmail.com. Yeah. Much love. Keep shining. Peace.
All right, so armored vehicles all the way down there at the exit. Armored vehicle right here. State troopers right there. Armored vehicle down there with the 2 men. This state trooper vehicle is empty because they left it, they abandoned it.
Oh, wow.
We assured the police that we're not going to escalate anything. We assured them that we're not sovereign citizens. We assured them that we're not black identity extremists. I personally handed them case law specifying how, the Younger versus Hawaii specifies that just because we're bearing arms, that doesn't constitute an offense. Which they're basically saying because we're bearing arms, they want to arrest us.
Yeah.
Right? Here's Massachusetts State Trooper's plate, so you know which vehicle was there. I have a body cam. Everything's recorded. So when they take us to court and all of a sudden my body camera footage ain't there, they're tampering with evidence. So that's basically it at this point. Different lieutenants have spoken to me, and I've assured them that we're not going to hurt nobody. I've assured them that I'm picking up orange peels. I assured them that we're going to try to stay peaceful. I've asked them several times to just give me a summons. I'll be responsible for all the actions. Like, I'll be the one to go to court since I'm in charge of the militia here. And basically just give us a summons. We'll go to court and just let us be on our way. But they keep saying it's basically my fault that they're blocking the highway. So what they told us was the state trooper from vehicle 522 said that we were just on the highway with guns. That's not what happened. We were traveling I-95 north towards, Juju knows where we were going, I-95 north towards Atlanta with train. And the vehicle I was in needed gas. So we stopped. I told him one more to get out without his arms at all to put fuel in the tank. And I'll show you that we have the gas tanks here on the highway. No intentions of hurting anyone. And so when we stopped to put gas in the gas tank, the Moors in the van told us that police were behind them. So I got out. I reached out with a shaking hand saying, hey, I'm Jamal. Try to resolve this peacefully. Long story short, which is on video, I asked for the shift commander. They got me Sergeant Matthew, whatever the heck his name is. I asked them, what's the probable cause? They said, we don't know. Then I handed the sergeant the paperwork, and I guess he thought I needed to rely on the paperwork as if I can't recite this off my memory. They took the paperwork and left. And then he told me that he was going to go to the back, examine the paperwork, and if I didn't violate any laws, we could leave. Then we basically had a 5-hour standoff for no reason. I've spoken to several lieutenants, and
I don't know if standoff is the word that should be used because people are going to think that. I said I don't know about using the term standoff because people are going to think that term means that,
Well, no, we're just standing here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just literally standing here. Look. No one's pointing at anybody.
Show them how they blocked off the highway.
We do have the canopy so we don't get wet. I want to set that up. Yeah. Sandbags?
You might as well get the tents.
Do something. But anyway, so you see the Moors here. We're not being aggressive. They're like military style. Look.
SWAT? Oh, you're doing a lot.
You see them? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't zoom in. And it's full of people. And then there's like 4 or 5 of them down there. There's 2 right here. And then there's like police behind them.
Oh, so they're blocking both sides of the highway, incoming and outgoing traffic.
So look, right? We're not even on the highway at all. It's them.
Yeah.
But they keep saying, we're blocking the highway. And he said that they don't have the power to not block the highway. And I said, well, who put them here? And he said, well, we did. I said, well, then that means you have the power to have them leave. But they basically want to treat us like criminals. So I told him that, we're not going to escalate anything, and that the most that's going to happen is we're going to just sit here, get tired, run out of food, run out of water, and then it's going to be easier for them to just violate safely. Because I told him that I cannot willingly waive my own rights, my Second Amendment rights specifically.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they have the binoculars. They're just looking. And then they put a 6-year-old black man. Hey, look, they're trying to get you aggravated. Don't let them look at you and make you mad. They're going to take us to jail anyway. It's not that, but best you can. Let me know.
What about the 60-year-old man? What'd you say?
So they tried to put a 6-year-old black man on the phone as a police guy to talk to him. He was a veteran in the Coast Guard.
Oh, wow. They thought that he was going to relate to you and talk you down?
Yeah.
That was cute. You're doing a great job. All the Moors are proud.
Fine. This is fine. Like this should be. So yeah, it's fine that the Moors are proud, but the Moors are gonna watch them violate us as well. So
yeah,
the pride doesn't mean anything without action.
Yeah.
So you have all the passwords to my stuff, right?
Some things, not everything.
I basically have the same passwords.
There's probably like an important one that I don't have. But I have your keys.
So as far as Rise of the Moors, right? As soon as you go on my computer, it's already logged in, so you can still fulfill orders and the only thing is I have a credit card on.
The what?
My credit card.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The bank.
So
you could just text it to me. Text it to my new phone.
Well, I mean, so...
Or DM, something like that. Or Telegram. Telegram's probably best.
So here's the thing. Oh, man, this is going to be hard. How about I just tell you it now?
Well, let me get off the live.
Oh.
Yeah.
Forgot.
All right. Do you want to say anything else? Because I'm still live. You want to say anything else? Because I'm still live.
Just look up res judicata, look up what it means. Look up Article 3, Section 1 and 2. Look up the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and Morocco. Look up House Resolution 0689 from the state of Illinois. Look up House Resolution 1203 from the state of Georgia. Pay attention to this case because they're going to try to drag us through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I can't really ask for much.
Don't believe the news, obviously, because they're already lying.
I mean, they can believe whatever they want to believe, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just, literally no crime has been committed.
Mm-hmm.
Look up Younger versus Hawaii, state of Hawaii. Like, I don't know.
Sorry, my girl's going to the bathroom.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is.
All right, I'm going to end the live now. But don't hang up.
Number 6, Chief Scory. Welcome. You've had quite a few weeks here.
Thank you. It's been busy.
Yes. So we put you on for an update, but I think I speak for everyone and they can put their own. We thank you so much for your leadership and patience and dealing with the very unfortunate Saturday situation of the 4th of July weekend. So please extend our thanks to your entire group and all the town meeting, or rather town employees who I know played a big role. But if you want to give us a little overview and update on that or anything else happening in the department, we welcome it.
All right, sure. I can. Would you like an overview of the incident itself?
Sure, please.
Okay. So I'll give you the basics here. At about 1:20 in the morning on July 3rd, state police called Wakefield Police looking for assistance with a stop up on the highway. They said the trooper was having some issues up there. They didn't really give us any specifics, so we sent 3 officers. We sent Sergeant Burnham, Officers Jancy, and Officer Peterson. So Sergeant Burnham was the first to arrive, and when he got up there, the trooper on scene gave him a brief synopsis of what was happening. So he basically, the trooper, rolled up on two cars that were in the breakdown lane. He thought that maybe they were broken down, they needed assistance. He was immediately met by 11 individuals who were dressed in camouflage gear, bulletproof vests, tactical gear, and were armed with long guns and handguns that were fully exposed. So to the trooper's credit, he kept his cool. He communicated quite well with these individuals, engaged them in conversation about what they were doing, what their purpose was, where they were going. And at some point, he asked for driver's licenses and license to carry for firearms, and that's when these individuals took up the sovereign attitude that they did not have to adhere by our laws. So Sergeant Burnham, this trooper, and a sergeant from the state police spent probably close to an hour and 40 minutes negotiating back and forth with these individuals until it got to the point where it came to a head, and the sergeant from the state police told them more likely than not that they would be placed under arrest. It was at that point that 3 of the individuals could be heard loading their rifles, and 8 of them jumped over the guardrail into the wood line. And the wooded area that they went into backs up to Subaru of Wakefield, and that's a very large wooded area. It connects to Parker Road, Elm Street, and it runs the length of the commuter rail all the way down North Ave. So recognizing the severity of the situation, Sergeant Burnham made the call to call out the Nemrut SWAT team, and they responded. They arrived probably around 3:30, and their role was to help set up a perimeter around that wooded area. So we stationed officers from Wakefield and the SWAT, Nemrut SWAT team on Parker Road, Elm Street, some little side streets that are off of Elm that back up to the wooded area, and along North Ave. So we had probably about 30 to 35 officers at our disposal at that time. The state police on the highway were continuing to negotiate with the leader of that group, who remained on the highway. And there was a lot of back and forth. Some of you may have seen the leader live streaming his communications back and forth. Fast forwarding ahead, 2 of those suspects that jumped over the guardrail at some point made their way out onto North Ave, and we were able to take them into custody on North Ave, right near the light plant. One of them was armed with a handgun. Both had full body armor on, and they were dressed in fatigues. Realizing that we had about a 2-mile perimeter that we had to set up, and we just didn't have enough officers to do it. So we asked for more additional NEMLEC assets. They called out the motorcycle unit and the regional response team, and we probably got another 150 police officers to respond from cities and towns all throughout Middlesex County. The Middlesex Sheriff's Department sent some people as well. So that we were able to really secure all the side streets off of North Ave, all of North Ave, every side street off of Elm Street, all of Parker Road. There was an extremely heavy police presence. And then the decision was made probably around 10:30. The individuals that were in the woods came back out to the highway and returned to their vehicles. The decision was made at that point where they were all together to try and take them into custody. So with the help of the Wakefield DPW, who had attached 4 plows to 4 very large dump trucks, they went up the wrong way in the highway and blocked the highway for us, so there would be no escape route if they tried to get back in their cars and take off. And NEMLEC deployed what's called an LRAD. An LRAD is a very high-pitched audible alarm, which basically disables somebody temporarily. So they deployed that and were able to successfully take the remaining 9 people into custody. No injuries to any officers, no injuries to the suspects, so a successful outcome there. I'll touch on communications a little bit. So we communicated with the townspeople through Code Red, and we sent out an initial Code Red to 2,280 phones and text messages at 4:30 in the morning. We limited that to the area that was most affected by this. We didn't want to send that out to the entire town at that time in the morning. Jen McDonald, was the town's communications manager, was extremely helpful. She sent out follow-up code reds to the entire town throughout the morning, and she also helped us with Twitter updates on what was going on. So I'd like to thank Jen for her help. I'd like to thank Joe Conway for his help. They were great. Couldn't have done this without them. And just to give you an idea of of NEMLEC and their response. So we pay a fee to belong to NEMLEC every year, the Northeastern Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council. And it's a small fee, and the response to what we got in return last Saturday, I would expect that exceeded probably $1 million. When you add up personnel, equipment, canines, specialized vehicles, Waltham and Tewksbury responded with their drone units. We were able to monitor the activities of some of these people while they're in the woods with the drones. So we couldn't have done this without NEMLEC either. So just a great response from them, and that's pretty much a breakdown of the whole event.
Yeah. I now present Vice Consul Adil Zakat Sadid Bey.
Thank you, Majesty Kadar. Islam and greetings to everyone. I wish to bring your attention to the importance of addressing specific details relating to the international events that took place on July 3rd, 2021. On July 3rd, 2021, at 6:19 a.m., I received a phone call from Consul General Lamont Maurice L., who informed me about his contact with Jamal, which began at 3:56 a.m. Lamont stated he witnessed Jamal on a live video stream on the YouTube channel, quote unquote, Wives of the Moors, making a verbal plea to an unidentified policeman of the Foreign Massachusetts, asserting that he, Jamal, and the members of his association have a treaty with the alleged government of the Massachusetts State Police. Jamal appeared to be alluding to the United States of North America. While speaking, Jamal was pointing to the Moroccan flag being held by two members of his organization while standing in the middle of the highway referred to as I-95. Lamont stated he observed at the end of the live video, Jamal announced his telephone number to a distant unidentified policeman of Foreign Massachusetts State Police in efforts to establish communication between the two parties. Lamont further stated he then proceeded to make contact in efforts to give consular assistance according to Article 20 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, in order to settle what appeared to be a dispute between Jamal and the representatives of the Foreign Massachusetts State Police Department. Lamont further informed me that when he made contact with Jamal, he asked Jamal if he would like to invoke his treaty right to consular jurisdiction so that he, Lamont, can provide the necessary assistance and make contact with the necessary chain of command with the Foreign Massachusetts State Police Department. According to the statements made by Lamont, Jamal agreed to consular assistance, and Lamont then instructed Jamal to declare to the unidentified policeman that he is invoking his treaty rights to consular jurisdiction, which Jamal did. At that point, Lamont stated, and he proceeded to contact the representatives of the Massachusetts State Police Department and spoke with several representatives, which included 3 males purporting to be lieutenants between 4:42 and 6:07 a.m. Lamont will provide details regarding his involvement in this international incident momentarily. I now want to be addressing the diversity of citizenship between the Moorish American nationals and the citizens of the United States, and the misrepresentation of our Moorish American nationality done by several foreign hybrid European colonists and stateless persons subjects coming under the classification of U.S. citizenship within purview of the unconstitutional 14th Amendment. A couple of points to be made aware and very clear for the record. 1, the fraudulent misrepresented designation, quote unquote, sovereign citizens does not and cannot apply to Moorish American nationals, for the term, quote unquote, sovereign citizens allude to a fictitious entity under the de facto 14th Amendment and is also an oxymoron statement. 2, Moorish American nationals are in harmony with the ancient principles of their ancient foremothers and forefathers and are not anti-government, quote unquote. For all citizens of the human race are recognized throughout the world in a public and political form by way of international treaties, constitutions of which Moors are recognized as, quote unquote, known parties in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1786-1787, superseded by the 1836 Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. So with regards to the diversity of citizenship, nationals upon a political forum must be identified as known parties. So in harmony to the statements that were made, which we are clearly making the distinction as that sovereign citizens do not apply and is not a designation to any nation whatsoever. So it also alludes to the 14th Amendment status under the Black Codes, which is unconstitutional in accordance to the congressional records. Proof of this statement will be coming from the congressional records. Proceedings and debates of the 90th Congress, first session, volume 113, part 12, held on June 12, 1967 to June 20th, 1967, pages 15309 to 16558. And I will direct your attention to, on this document of the congressional records, page 1564, 15641. The 14th Amendment is unconstitutional. The purpose, the purported 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is and should be held to be ineffective, invalid, null, void, and unconstitutional. The proposed 14th Amendment was rejected by more than 1/4 of all the states then in the Union, and it was never ratified by 3/4 of all the states in the Union, according to Article 5. Also, for the following reasons: 1, the joint resolution proposing said amendment was not submitted to the adopted or adopted by a constitutional Congress. Article 1, Section 3, and Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. 2, the joint resolution was not submitted to the President for his approval. Article 1, Section 7. So, according to these documents here, which you can find in the congressional records, this is proof that clearly identifies that sovereign citizens is and cannot be attached to a national or nationality or the identity of national people. It is also, again, a colorable, fictitious construct which will be constructed within the guise of the 14th Amendment, which therefore we have proven that is unconstitutional. So for any so-called media outlet or any person that would make the statement that Moorish Americans are considered sovereign citizens are committing a treaty violation by denationalizing it. So what I will continue to do now is I would turn this over to Consul General Lamont Maurice L. so he can fill you in with the details as pertains to the communication that he had with Jamal and the foreign Massachusetts State Police Department.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you. I would like to speak on the international controversy that took place on July 3rd, 2021, and shed light on some of the colonial operations and genocide against the Aboriginal and Indigenous Moorish Americans that are taking place here at the Maghreb Al-Aqsa, Morocco, the furthest west, which we all know today as North America. On July 3rd, 2021, at approximately 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was made aware of a live video stream titled Peaceful on the YouTube channel belonging to the organization called Rise of the Moors. As I tuned in, I witnessed Jamal Tarib Abdullah Bey speaking with an unidentified person purporting to be a policeman of the private foreign de facto corporation known as Massachusetts State Police. Jamal has previously declared himself to be a Moorish American national in several other YouTube videos. I noticed in the video that Jamal was standing in the middle of the highway on I-95 North near mile marker 57.4 at the Massachusetts State Republic jurisdiction, along with 2 other members of the organization known as Rise of the Moors. Both of the 2 members were holding the Moroccan flag. In the video, Jamal announced to the unidentified policeman that they are not anti-government and that their nation, while pointing to the Moroccan flag, has a treaty with the government of the unidentified policeman. Jamal also announced that he and his members were being extra careful as to not violate the federal laws of the United States. Jamal then asserted that there were about 12 police vehicles on the scene while directing his camera to the vehicles in the front and rear of where he and his members were located. He also asked for the viewers to call the local news media to help bring awareness to the present situation. Jamal also claimed that he and his members have identified themselves with documentation given to the policemen. Later in the same video, Jamal claimed that there were men loading their firearms in the woods, while you can hear in the background one of the men holding the Moroccan flag announce that they were foreign nationals and that the police were in violation of the Constitution. Another member of the Rise of the Moors organization claimed that one of the policemen were pointing their loaded sniper rifle directly at him, and he asked the policeman for a lieutenant to be present on the scene so that they can request an audience with him or her. Later in the video, I noticed that there were more members that were affiliated with Jamal and the other two members that I mentioned earlier. Jamal announced that the police would get Jamal announced to the police if they would get a lieutenant to speak with them. Jamal then yelled his telephone number to the several policemen that, so that the lieutenant would contact him on his cell phone. At that time, I determined that I was witnessing an international controversy between Moorish Americans and citizens of the United States of America, and that the Moorish Americans were in danger. At 3:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I made contact with Jamal via the phone number he provided in the video, and I identified to him who I was and the office I represent. I also asked him if he would like for me to exercise consular jurisdiction over the present international controversy in order to ensure that the treaty obligations in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire are upheld and enforced. And he said yes. From 3:56 a.m. to 1:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I spoke with Jamal, various lieutenants, and personnel of the Foreign Corporate Massachusetts State Police, and a male and female of the Rise of the Moors organization. When speaking to the lieutenants, I identified myself and my involvement in the international controversy, which was to exercise consular jurisdiction over Jamal and the members of the Rise of the Moors organization in order to ensure their safety and to make sure that their treaty rights are upheld and not violated. Jamal also invoked his treaty rights to consular jurisdiction and introduced me to the lieutenants as the Consul General of Morocco while on the telephone. The lieutenants confirmed my position and began to speak with me about their side of the incident. During our conversations and on the various YouTube videos, Jamal can be seen began to identify himself. Jamal began to identify the policemen and lieutenants of the Foreign Massachusetts State Police as officers and requested that he and his members be given a summons to come to court so that they can peacefully leave and come to court at a later date. At that point, I was unable to continue to exercise consular jurisdiction over the international controversy due to Jamal verbally abandoning his treaty rights to consular jurisdiction, whether knowingly or unknowingly, by announcing the several policemen to be officers, which puts them in office over Jamal and his estate by appointment. Thus and therefore, Jamal, whether he knew or not, abandoned his treaty right to consular jurisdiction. at 1:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I spoke with a male and female member of the Rise of the Moors organization. And I'm going to keep their identity and not reveal it due anonymous. To, yes, anonymous, due to their right to privacy and with honor to their right of privacy. So as I was saying, I spoke with a male and female member of the Rise of the Moors organization, who then informed me that Jamal and the other members at the scene was kidnapped by the policemen. I then explained to them the conversations I had with Jamal and the lieutenants and why I was halted from exercising consular jurisdiction over the matter. I then offered them, the two members, consular advice on what they can still do to assist Jamal. The members said they understood and would keep me up to date with the situation. And at a later time, the two members texted me and said that there was another Moorish American that was competent and that they would be using his services, which ultimately meant they did not want the service of consular jurisdiction to be exercised by myself and the consulate. From the principles of controversy, whenever there is a controversy or dispute, the first issue that needs to be addressed in law is the identification and status of all parties. From what I witnessed on the several YouTube videos, I can give a general description of the parties involved. Based on immediate assumption and the information provided to me by Jamal and the members of the Rise of the Moors organization are all generally Moors or Moorish Americans that were traveling on the highway and flying the Moroccan flag as their signal of communication to be known under the law of flags in accordance with Article 4 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of America, or not United States of North America, and the Moroccan Empire. The police and representatives of the private foreign de facto corporation known as Massachusetts State Police are foreign Occidental European colonists, being corporate stock citizens of the defunct corporate United States, who are occupying land that is not their own by way of colonial operations. Those among the foreign Occidental European colonists that were allegedly exercising the jurisdictional powers of government on the land as constitutional officers can only be valid and lawful by way of treaty and constitutional law, and not color of law. Therefore, the international dispute between the two parties was to be decided by consul in a consular court and venue pursuant to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, and pursuant to Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. We, being my officers and myself, have not received a deposition statement from Jamal or any of the members of the Rise of the Moors organization on all things that took place. Nevertheless, for informational purposes, by principle of law, there was no immediate note that Jamal and members of the Rise of the Moors organization violated any treaty or constitution. And I'll stop here for a second and explain. This is basically the point of colonial operations. Whenever Aboriginal and Indigenous Moors are exercising their right to travel, their rights, that is, are deprived under color of law, which is known as traffic law. And according to the color of law known as traffic law, in order for you to travel, you have to have permission from a foreign corporation known as or styled as state of For an example, state of Massachusetts, state of Maryland, state of Georgia, etc. And they misconstrue, and when I say they, I'm talking about the representatives of such corporations, misconstrue travel to be driving on purpose, although it is clearly known among all scholars around the world and all people around the world that know how to read that the word driver is a commercial word and it has nothing to do with travel. All right? Continuing. Oh, and also I want to mention that the right of the people to keep and bear arms, which shall not be infringed, is a universal right known around the world. That universal right is guaranteed to be secured under the Second Amendment. Thus and therefore, there is no requirement for a gun permission, also known as a gun permit or a gun license, to compel the people to such instrument is a deprivation of rights under color of law, because the Second Amendment clearly states that the right of the people to be to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but to compel a people to have a driver's license, a gun license, is to infringe on the right to keep and bear arms. And that is stare decisis, which means it has already been decided by we the people. And the preamble, just to make clear, we the people of the United States, as it is written in the present Constitution for the United States of North America, is referring to the people in the Continental Congress. The Continental Congress consisted of 35 Aboriginal and Indigenous sovereign Moors and 20 foreign hybrid European colonists that represented the states or the colonies at that time. And in the Continental Congress of 1774, 1776, as well as 1781, under the Articles of Confederation. So we must all know and be aware of our status and our standing in the Constitution, all right? Because the Constitution was not written by foreign hybrid European colonists, all right? No nation of people can come to another nation of people's land by way of treaty and begin to draft the supreme law of the land for that land. That is unheard of, that is unconstitutional, and that is notwithstanding, and that is far from the truth. Therefore, Jamal and the members of the Rise of the Moors organization are being held hostage for profit under a bill of attainder, which is unconstitutional pursuant to Article 1, Sections 9 and 10 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. That's the law of the land.
Brother Moorish.
And that's also what...
Article 6, I got a copy of the Constitution.
Yeah, well, yeah. She's familiar with the Constitution.
Right. It's kind of order the Constitution.
Right. All right. Make sure you grab the camera so that you can get that through. You know that constant notification and access requirement refers you all to all treaty obligations. That's the whole purpose of it. supposed to go. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, and I tell you. Okay. 5. As I was saying, then consular education, massive menu, guide you all city operations, all of that. So we were supposed to go over the city according to how they deemed read in the law dictionary, and the distinction is supposed to be settled right here, according to the city, not according to the law. That's the whole purpose of Well, it's not the policy of Massachusetts, it's law in Massachusetts.
No,
So, if you're
you
saying-
want foreign policy, because you're a general order.
Our order's coming from the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
No, your general orders are listed. I tried to look them up on your website. A lot of other policy enforcement and departments, they have it on the website. Some don't. I looked on your website, you don't have it. So I actually called. I said I have to order it. So I didn't have time to order it because these stuff going in.
Yep.
However, all of you all foreign policy, because it's not law. All of yours is foreign policy in regards to foreign nationals, not just diplomats, but foreign nationals, because it's specifically mentioned
Right.
on the front page.
I'm
It's
following
for the
it, yeah.
sole purpose of treaty operations, because we're protected by
Foreign nationals in Massachusetts, subject to the state of Massachusetts. But, hold on. And
Crazy,
what we do
man.
is
She's
arrest them.
what?
is
Crazy.
contact via contact, okay? Based on that contact, if the national doesn't want the council contact, we don't, right?
But
We still enforce our law.
yeah, but there's supposed to be someone that's competent in your department on treaty obligations. I'm going to show you the Supreme Court case ruling, which states contrary to what you said, and I appreciate your patience.
Okay, stand by.
Better than you are, man. No problem.
Both of them? Wow. I've been calling them. I've been calling them. Oh man, a lot of people have been calling. I've been on my email. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, that's everybody's information.
Yeah,
I would have lost. I would have went dark again. Yeah, like all them is on the bench.
No. Yeah, we just found out.
Excuse me. You're looking in your car, so I don't know what he's looking for in your car.
Sir, this is an affidavit. This is a plate.
No.
There's no court decision on it. No. It means a true copy of the attest with the court magistrate has received that affidavit.
No.
It's an affidavit. Okay, it's not, as of right now.
But no. We were talking about the Supreme Court case ruling that says, I don't want to misquote.
Hang on one second, sorry.
Hold on. Where is that? This is Article 6, actually.
Did I get you back?
Yeah. This is called obstruction of justice. Conveyance, not her motor vehicle. This is a conveyance under color of law, right? We're going to challenge the court's jurisdiction.
Absolutely.
And they're going to dismiss it for
Does
lack
anyone
of jurisdiction, like all
in
of
your
the other
party or
cases.
anyone that you're with
We're
here
trying
have
to
a
peacefully
license?
resolve this to avoid lawsuits.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Okay.
They're not in my party. We're all
To the Commonwealth Constitution.
standing as individuals.
For the United States of North America.
You interpret that document to mean that this is a vessel. I interpret that document based on being a maritime major, that related to the ports of call when the Moroccan government decided to do international travel because they wanted to make sure that anytime they pulled into port, they would not be violated and they would be able to...
Are you referring to the Kingdom of Morocco, which was founded in 1956? Because this treaty is 1836. This is the empire.
Signed by the Emperor of Morocco.
A treaty of peace and friendship between the United States of North America and the Empire of Morocco. The kingdom is subordinate to the empire. You're in the empire. Yeah, this is why they call New York the Empire State. That's where the emperor sat. A lot of people don't know that history. Your higher ups may do. It doesn't matter. Law doesn't change.
Okay, that's your interpretation of the treaty.
They're not talking about.
You're gonna break my. You're gonna break my
it's
my
a
hatch.
motor, and also we still have
And
stuff.
plus,
in
I need.
I was just trying to just look at what I'm saying. You do
Okay, but it's one in the front.
It's one in the
It's
front.
one in the
You don't mind.
front. It's one in the front.
Okay.
Don't know how to operate it. Just ask.
Yeah, so a lot of police departments and sheriff departments, not most, but a lot, get it confused when they think Morocco, they think over there in this northwestern continent of Africa. No, Morocco's here and it extends over there. That's an empire, all right? I'm not trying to give you a history lesson. I'm just saying that when you read this treaty without the understanding of the history of it, that like when our forefathers allowed your forefathers to do business on this land and it was sanctioned, a Republican form of government, not the state of Massachusetts, but the Massachusetts Commonwealth Republic. That was the sanction and form of government under Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States of North America, for you all to come within our dominions because you broke off from King George of Great Britain, who was enslaving the colony.
Okay.
So you all came under the jurisdiction in 1787. From 1784 to 1787, under the Emperor of Morocco, not the king.
It became a U.S. in 1776. We've had enough history lessons.
No, that's
A U.S.
This land is never U.S.
Okay.
That's birthright. You're trying to steal our birthright by saying this.
I'm not trying to steal anything, sir. I really am.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when you say that.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Okay. That this is the United States of America.
The land?
This is the United States of America. Its borders are the United States of America and North
It is
America.
not.
Absolutely.
Okay.
America.
We're indigenous, aboriginal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to disrespect.
Who's the superior?
And
I'm just saying
really
that's
trying to not.
disrespectful to us to
I'm
say
not.
that this is the United States of America. No, the
Are
jurisdiction.
you saying that this is not the United States of America?
Absolutely. This is Morocco. We're
Okay.
indigenous. All of us. Look at it. We
Interjection.
look just like the land.
Okay.
Interjection.
Indigenous
Who's the
and
superior?
Okay. So now
That's
this
an insult
becomes.
to us.
And no insult was meant, okay? I'm letting you know right now, I work for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, okay? Who we are within its borders, as far as I know. Your claim to this being part of the Moroccan Empire, I guess will be settled in U.S. Supreme Court.
No, absolutely.
Supreme
It'll
Court,
be
no.
settled- it's being
I'm
settled
not
here.
going to settle it.
I know. It's being
Okay.
settled here. I'm going to settle it. It's
Okay.
being settled here.
Okay.
And it's also being settled in other cases. We just showed you.
Okay.
That's stare decisis. It's already been
You
decided.
showed me affidavits, sir.
I showed you
Affidavits-
orders.
No.
No, they were bonded by affidavit. I showed you orders.
You requested the order in the affidavit.
Did
All
you
right.
show me where the request is?
Okay.
No.
Hang on one second.
Respectfully.
I respectfully, I'm trying.
No request is.
Let's get this over with. We have the information.
Look. Okay. This is
Who
order
was it signed by?
by me.
Okay.
Look, no. It was
He is the
signed by me.
consul general.
Consul General
Let
of
me.
Judicial Office.
Okay. Where? Do you have a bar card? No.
Why do you need a barcode? What do you need a barcode for?
That's the British
Yeah, we don't-
accreditation registry?
No, yeah,
No, we don't need that. That's
No.
a British accreditation registry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't practice law,
Well,
we enforce law.
I only enforce the laws, the
Oh,
statutes,
she's not
and the
competent.
case law that is issued by the courts, the
She's not
Commonwealth, and the
competent.
legislative branch. That's where
Good.
my
That's
jurisdiction.
legislation. You can't legislate our rights.
And no, I said in the cases and the cases implemented by our judiciary and the legislation.
So you
and
know
any
what
executive
you know what
orders.
case law is used for? To settle. So if it's already been decided in one case.
Right, but that's used in a court of law. We're not in a court of law right now. We're out here in the back parking lot.
You don't
that's
have
not a court
courts.
of law neither.
Okay.
They weren't delegated judicial powers under Article 3, Section 1 of the Act.
We need
Okay.
to tow the
I don't-
car, all right? Thank you.
That's grand theft. Where's the- oh, thank you. Come on. Have a card?
They're trying to do the
I
same
do
with my
not have a
conveyance.
card on me, but I am in charge of
Now?
the State Police Barracks in Medford, right here,
This
right across the
district?
street. Yep. Yep,
You got a card over there?
I do. Yep. I do. If you come in after this whole thing is over, I'll give you a card.
And once this thing is over, because you always do a traffic case, right? With the ticket. Y'all gonna issue. You already
Yeah,
issued her a ticket?
there'll be a summons for her to appear. Yep.
She's gonna appear in writing. You know, that's. And she's gonna do a special appearance. Nah, I ain't gonna tell you all that.
Okay.
I'll say it in writing.
All right.
They're trying to do the same thing with my conveyance.
Oh, they challenging you too?
Yeah, they want to tow my vehicle.
Okay.
So,
Well, we got enough funds. That's grand theft.
Come over there.
Came out here to.
I need more witnesses to come over there when I'm looking my stuff in the car.
All right.
Because they surrounded.
Okay. Hey,
This is what they intended to do.
they're doing the same thing to the rest of us.
Ma'am, do you have everything that you need?
No, I mean, I now have to figure out where I'm going to put it. So now that you are trying to tell someone else,
You can secure it in the vehicle, and it'll stay. We'll inventory it. It'll stay in the tow yard.
but I don't want you to eat my food. and I don't want it to spoil. So, yeah, but I'd like to eat it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be some. Well, I'm trying to take everything I need.
Russ, what's up?
I mean, I know.
Discussion.
But she's saying that our treaty is only referring to. I'll tell you all that.
Okay.
Let me say it in writing.
All right.
Oh, they challenging you too? Okay. Well, we got enough fun. That's grand theft, huh? It just came out here to grand theft. All right. Okay. Hey,
Good, you good, sis.
well, wait a minute, Nasi. They're doing the same thing to the brother's car as well, so he's going to need somewhere to put his property. Where? Was it someone else?
They're targeting all the cars that
Well, there's only one place for it. That's the whole purpose of. Who's the superior? Huh? Who's the superior? Her. Yeah, she's no law. I know. She's claiming that their policy supersedes treaty obligations. So
Fletcher.
I mean, yeah, I know, but she's saying that our treaty is only referring to admiralty and ports, which it is, but she's construing the traffic laws that they're enforcing, which is color of law, is the law of the land, which and not admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, which it is. So that means she's incompetent.
Does anybody know about consular law? Consular jurisdiction?
Well, no.
It does.
I don't want to.
I was not disrespectful to you.
Ma'am, does anybody know about consular jurisdiction?
It's upsetting. You got to understand where we're coming from.
I understand.
That's upsetting. We traveled a long way.
Can I ask you a question?
If it's some of the same questions, it's he's already
Yeah,
gone
just
through.
don't, bro. We just got to do it
We've
in
already gone
their
through it.
venue and our venue. That's fine. That's fine. We'll put the call out and everything will be fine. You have to
I don't think
understand.
it's fair because we travel, right to travel everywhere, and for you guys to do that in the parking lot, that's not cool.
Hey, bro, they did it peacefully though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It could have went a whole nother way. So we're gonna keep the peace. Listen, this is also an article I would like for you to see, man. This is Article 24, which is what we're doing here. If any differences shall arise by either party infringing on any of the articles of this treaty, peace and harmony shall remain notwithstanding in the fullest force until a friendly application shall be made for an arrangement.
This is peaceful.
Well, no, I know. That's, I was just saying, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing here.
exactly.
So we're keeping the peace. You understand? But
understand.
it's frustrating. It's frustrating. The things that
Both of us
people,
are frustrated right now.
Why? You're getting paid for this.
Yeah,
You're getting paid for this.
I am getting paid for this. I would assume
There's no injured party.
as a representative of the consulate, you are getting paid for this.
There's no, we're getting violated from this. There's no injured party. If she's violated, I'm violated. All of us are violated.
And all our conveniences are private trust. That means anybody violate our trust.
And if there is no warrant, which is authority to search or seize, then you can't operate outside of that realm of law by your decision or by arbitrary or by color of law, because that's what color of law is. That means there's no injured party. There's no affidavit. There's no one claiming to be the plaintiff, which is the one who makes the complaint. Not state of Massachusetts.
To operate a vehicle in Massachusetts, you have to have
I heard that narrative. Okay. However, the plaintiff is going to be state of Massachusetts, or Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. That means no one has the right to face their accuser. Who's the accuser? Who's going to get on the stand and say, I swear to tell the truth?
Right to the,
no. No one is going to come up there in their individual capacity. You all are going up there in your corporate capacity. So liability won't reach you in that corporate capacity, because no one is standing to take liability to be the injured party. If there's a case, controversy, there's supposed to be an injured party, either by contract or by criminality. All right? There is no criminal activity here. We're traveling and we're peaceful. However, I don't want to sound redundant, because you may have heard this before, but I'm one of the ones that ride around with stare decisis, meaning other cases that I've assisted Moorish Americans with enforcing the Constitution and treaty, not local law, enforce state law. All right? What it comes in?
Sergeant.
Oh, well, that's an offer.
I'm registered, uninsured. Incorporate in that. Oh, really?
Oh, that's. Yeah. They're taking the position that their policy is.
It doesn't, because it's in Article 6 of the Constitution. It says anything to the contrary notwithstanding.
Everybody has the choice and the right to be criminals if they want. Of course. So, it's criminality. Of course. It's gun people. It's grand theft.
Ma'am, you can also hold this Constitution. You can also this Constitution. Are you familiar with Article 6 of the Constitution? You know what it says? Anything to the contrary that any state, any laws or any code, any statute. So to the contrary, notwithstanding. Are you familiar with that?
So Article 4 it states
Okay.
the right of the people.
We've gone through this, okay?
Your policy is
also, the federal government has also given jurisdiction to the state government to enforce their own constitution.
That was under the Articles of Federation of 1781.
So Massachusetts Constitution, okay, is the enforcement of the legislative laws of Massachusetts.
Yeah, but that's
Under 9010 and the Massachusetts.
That's legislation. That's corporate. That doesn't apply to us.
The first part then.
Because you said a code. You said a code.
Constitution is to uphold the statutes, judiciary, and executive orders of the Commonwealth.
And all treaties made. And all treaties made. Those are legislation. Yeah. Those are legislation.
You're right. Your common legislation.
That's what a statute.
And there are laws. So under 9010, you need to be licensed in the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, but
or
we don't.
State.
That's if we have a contract with you all. We're not contracted with you all, so we don't have to abide by that. Because you're not sovereign over here.
Then that's your defense. But right now, we have to deal with the defense. And that is
criminality. I know you already explained that.
Okay.
Of course, he's not going to accept that. I mean, whatever you want to do with it. No. We need this. Anything they say can and will be used against them.
Sir, did you take a note of the Constitution?
Yeah, we need this. This will be made into an exhibit. Watch.
Okay, ma'am, the tow truck is going to be here in just a few minutes. We're going to get your stuff.
Yeah, we're waiting for the conveyance.
Oh, okay.
Thank you again for your patience.
Can I get a couple witnesses to come and get you my car? God. What the Hold up, I need my backpack. Hold up. My green bag too. What do you got, sir? You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. My backpack. Okay. How can you feel my car? You didn't give me a. Can you get my bag too? my green bag.
I get my stuff in the back too. It's really important. You want that? Medical
Okay.
stuff? Medical stuff.
It's the right there.
Step down, back to the door.
Hold on.
My brother, my sisters concerning the case, man. I may be crossing when I've been back on the air. Jamal is my brother.
This guy's actually helped get people out of jail. Yeah, he's a beast.
Out of prison, man. I've got a lot of people out of prison exonerated. So I'm here, in support because that's the only way to do it. Freedom is a must. If we don't support each other, we ain't got, we can't do it, man.
Yeah, this guy came out 3 hours. He's been getting people out of jail himself, wrongfully convicted. You know what I'm saying? He's doing some good shit.
That's what we should all be doing. I respect that, right? We claim colonization, we claim oppression, right? We're being oppressed and everybody's colonized. So why isn't everybody out freeing everybody else?
That's right.
Yep.
Right? We still living a life of slavery. People think that we're not. We still slavery, man.
I mean,
we ain't never got up. We still paying this. We still doing that.
I mean, when they ask your favorite rappers and your favorite entertainers, because I know everyone living in Hollywood, they don't seem to be living in slavery and none of that. And then they say some silly shit, like they're not being oppressed and they're not black. And then the media makes them come back and apologize to y'all, and then y'all go buy their records.
Now, you want to hear something, my brother? The media was here today, right?
Yep.
The media was here the first time the case happened.
Yeah.
When it happened, they cut, edit, put what they wanted to make it look bad.
Yeah,
but
right
today,
right
before y'all guys came, the media was here, and because they couldn't do certain things like they wanted to finger fuck things, excuse my language, they decided to unpack and leave. That's why he left with his camera. Because he couldn't do what he wanted to do when he asked them. They told him, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. He said, loud and clear, what's the reason of me being here? If I can't, there's no case here. What did he say, Will?
That's what he said to me.
That's what he said.
They wanted to come for the photo op. They were mad that you guys weren't in person. Jamal wasn't here. They wanted to get the busted. Oh, look at these guys. And so they just packed it up. The guy was there with a whole bunch of different mics from different stations, and he just packed it up after that.
And we appreciate, the brothers, sisters came. We should have by next time double that.
We should have way more people out here.
And it don't have to be the Moors. I'm a Mason. So it could be my Mason brother. It could be friends, family. We don't got to know you guys to come here to support.
There's two random Slavic individuals upstairs right now that came out in support of Rise of the Moors. We don't even know them.
And actually, I overheard them saying, they were like, this is the first time I've ever been to court. You guys are getting troglodytes like me, first time ever out to court. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
All of them rest of them living room warriors on the Instagram, bro. Ask them what they doing. Especially the ones asking me why I wasn't there, and they not there. But they're not even here.
That's right. That's right. I come 4 hours away, so there's no excuse.
No excuse.
If you live here,
no excuse.
I left at 4 in the morning.
Right.
And then it came here, and I made it. So there's no excuse for me. There's no excuse for nobody. Freedom is a must, man.
You still got oxygen in your lungs. You can move.
Still got it. I'm ready.
Let's go.
She's taking pictures. I just want to make sure I get a good thing.
That's what it's about. Peace and love, man. That's what it's about, man.
I want to catch that judge walking out. Ask him, what? You wanted to continue with the probable cause. What evidence did you base that on, buddy?
Bro.
Like, these guys are such douchebags, and they just, I appreciate that argument. No, we're going to just see you September 8th, though, buddy.
Nothing was going on. Video skipping and everything.
Okay, great. Yeah.
It's noted, but the thing is that we didn't get to hear what he was trying to note. Exactly. So now, how is it noted? How is it proper cause? If we didn't even get to hear all the word, we didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, and then if they get the transcript, I'm pretty sure everything will be chopped and screwed and everything.
Yep.
Of course.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be.
Of course.
Want to go around to the back? Want to go around to the back? See if we catch any of the judges or prosecutors.
And that's proof right there that they're not even like stopping the proceedings to try to like fix like the camera, or not the camera, like the zoom or anything like that. Just so they can try to hear them again.
What is it called? What's that committee called?
Press committee.
Press committee. This is what they need to do. It's not that hard. Get up, get out your living room, get out your mama's house, out your mama's basement. Look, these men don't even have crazy technological cameras with tripods.
I finally got an iPhone after Metro PCS. Finally.
And I'm pretty sure everyone in our groups have iPhones. Get out here and be press and publications. This is what it is. This is what it takes, bro.
This is what saves us right here, man.
Take days off of work for this. That's crazy.